If I told you what's the true map of the earth beyond the ice wall, you walking on this earth plane, I say point north. All your compasses are going to point towards the middle. No matter where you are, at least on this part of the earth plane, all your compasses are going to point towards the middle. It ain't it interesting that they got a sun right here in the middle, man? Spirals out after Ice Age. Hmm? Hmm. So since we just getting through a little Ice Age, you saying this thing at the appropriate time is going to spiral out and melt the ice? I don't know. They have moons, multiple suns all over the place. I told you there's many suns, but are these the stars? Or are we just talking about more land, more water, more earth? Clockwise, counterclockwise, clockwise, counterclockwise. You got to be real careful, about your names, right? Our names, the things we call the Creator, because they can't play with the HaWah. They can't play with it, but they'll play with the Yah, right? The Yah is the moon, but this moon is the old moon, because according to what I'm saying, Nas confunding, some of these cartographers that are getting their bits and pieces of information. We don't take no map as solid or 100%. We got many different joints, Japanese maps, 1,000-year-old maps. You know what I mean? So we got orientation pies, orientation enchiladas. Look how these suns line up, though. So you got Mu and Mu, right? And these moons are called Ya Ya. If that's the name of the Creator, they couldn't even do that. Call that the name of the moon. Then you got Ja, right? You got Ja. Ja's out here, the sun. So one of the older suns is called Ja. One of the older moons is called Ya. J, Go, Mo, Sol, Bo, yada, yada, yada. Set, Nubis. And of course, it's all frequency and tension, but things that make you go, no. They got a lost sun out here, Triangle Island. So this joint right here is interesting. Again, they got the inner sun. Some would say the black sun, right? Causing the aurora borealis, all that. Yeah, they got the sun. Now the other joints that we seen don't have they didn't put a sun right there. We're gonna get back to the German, because this one got me popping off. I always wait until I'm like really inspired to do the flat drop. You know what I mean? Because I just know once we get started again, it's a whole nother series. So I wait until I'm inspired, man. But my point is, not all of them put this. Now this one does. This one puts the sun in the center. And then this is interesting orientation, man, because I haven't seen one like this. It's almost like they're trying to draw a correlation. Like, these are the same land masses, clearly, but they just flip them here. Flip the same one here. Flip the same one over there. Same one here. But they're showing you it, right? I mean, what are they saying? And what does it mean? Now, how come they didn't duplicate the Americas like that? Monagas, just leave a comment. Let me know what this means. How come they couldn't duplicate the Americas, but they could flip Africa and Europe and Australia, all that, they could flip that a bunch of times, right? Duplicates, 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 duplicates. Simulation, simulation, simulation. But the Americas, I don't see a duplication here. But this one's interesting. So it has a sun, an inner sun. They got a little more writing on it too. So let's see what they're saying on this one. Bits and pieces, my nigga. Here a little, there a little. Don't throw the babies out with the bathwater. No map is going to be 100. I don't care if it's coming from Mercator, this, and the maps you trust, your globe. None of this shit is 100. You know what I'm saying? So don't look at something like this and say, oh, looks like somebody just drew it. So does the maps they show us in grade school, man. The ones you think are real maps are also drawn. You know what I'm saying? Computerized, this, that, projection, somebody's projections. So, I could read the script and over again it's repeated. The earth is firm, fixed, and immovable, man. So with that, I can build. So no matter where we go with our theories, we could be theoretical when we know we got facts, what I'm saying, to base our investigation off of. That if the hijack's telling us we're spinning at 1,000 miles per hour, you might want to ask, maybe they're just cutting a section out and making it a sphere. And they keep doing that and keep doing that and keep doing that. And now you have planets. But the etymology of planet is tricky, just like north. Below, beneath. If a planet is a ball, if a planet is a sphere, then wouldn't the root of the word relate to being a ball and not flat? I'll wait, boss. I'll wait. This flat drop 101, boss. I'll wait. And what happened when they, you know, cut this section out on this infinite map and spun us at 1,000 miles per hour? It seems like they had a plan to make a devious plan. What happens when they're worshiping Saturn and Mars and all these planets? We're talking about repelling. We're talking about dissuading from the right path. Bewildering another. So now you're on the wrong path because they put a T at the end of plane. When plane, means spread out. Spread out, boss. Flat. To spread. You don't change the etymology or the root or the meaning of the word by putting a T at the end. Managi. I can't put a T at the end of circle and get circled, and now I got a square, Managi. Stop it, man. Planet is flat. Planet is flat. Spread. That's why you got worlds beyond the poles. That's why you got more land. That's why you got more land. Atlantis, what you doing way out here? How many ice walls? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And which one is the Great Dome? Encompassing 178 worlds. One, two, three ice walls. Okay. 1, 2, 3 ice walls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ice walls. And how do these ice walls correlate with firmaments? Firmaments. A great firmament. You know what I mean? Like, so this book, this 178, worlds under the Great Domes, could be drawing some correlation. How many ice rings, ice walls. It's also a great book para nos confunde, el navigator que cruzó las murallas de hielo. The navigator that crossed the ice walls. The navigator that crossed the ice wall. The walls of ice. You know what I mean? So we gotta belly flop a little in this. Talk about the artificial walls. What? Manipulation in no land. The domes. The apprentice. J of the worlds beyond the walls of ice. Could be something, could be nothing, boss. The last great plan. Hey, it's all about Hawaii's plan. But this is what we digging on. Again, did they just cut some section out of this, man? We just dropped this drop on IG. Make sure you're getting cozy in our Instagram. I try to keep the information pretty consistent and balanced throughout the platforms. We got a few of them now. However, it's this, man. Whoa, get out of here, boss.